So hello and welcome. It is my pleasure to be with you today with my good friend and fellow healer, Annie Redbird. She is an incredible soul and just has the biggest heart. She is an expert in how we use nature to really nurture ourselves and to really create the happiest and most aligned life that we can. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. And before I do so, I just wanted to say again, Annie, thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm really excited about you passing on your expert knowledge about this because it is truly magical. So thank you.
That's a lovely lead-in. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you straight out of the gate, I think that the reason you and I connect so well, Lizzie, is that we are rebels, and the reason I want to bring flower magic to support your audience and support you in your launch is because the act of working with flowers is a rebellious act. Because like you and me, flowers are much more than a pretty face. They are deeply rooted, they are enchanting, and they are here to serve a purpose that is powerful and sacred. So hello and welcome to everyone that's live, that's going to watch replay, and well, heck, to the whole wide world. I am Annie Redbird, and I am a sanctuary conduit. I help people by tapping in through my magic of being an intuitive designer, tap into the healing essence of nature that is here to support us naturally, magically, mystically, and practically. And so today what we'll do in our time together is we'll dip into flower magic a little bit and bring some sort of tips and easy to use sort of knowledge so that you can apply it actually directly with the 12 rebellious acts in Lizzie's book. That's my intention for you today. I'll be bringing to you 7 flowers just to get us sort of on the same page. 7 flowers who are here with qualities that we either want to tap more into or that we want to reclaim. So that's the beauty of flower magic. And so I have 7 flowers. Now, you've been watching the replays, you've been attending these calls, these Zoom calls, you know that the chakras. So today in my talk, ironically enough, that's the power coming through, power's coming through, is I have 7 flowers that relate to those chakras to support her work and or support her talk that supports what you're doing through Lizzie's book. Okay, so let's start with like the first step on this path. The first step on this path is really, hey, what do flowers have to do with sanctuary, and why is sanctuary so important for me? And I'll say this: to create sacred space around you helps support you as you're creating and reclaiming that sacred space within you. So creating a sanctuary, a physical space, it mirrors the work and who you're becoming. Now, the really groovy part of that is that flowers are the easiest of our design tools to represent the qualities that you're either reclaiming or you're wanting to reinforce. So when I refer to flower magic, I'm referring to a divination tool, not unlike oracle cards, crystals, prayer, and such. Flower work is actually a very old divination tool, ancient even, that is shown through many cultures, all cultures actually, all times, all wisdoms. Flowers are a part of the energies of the planet expressed. And we know energy expressed. So when we're using and tapping into flower work or doing flower work or raising our vibration with flower magic, we are actively tapping into wisdom from eons ago and setting us forward for where and who we're growing into. So today, that's a part of our talk. And so I'm going to infuse this time together with those energies. So as an intuitive and as a channeler, I am calling in healing nature to be with us right now. I'm calling that healing nature that is deep, deep, deep within your being to be here now. And that we raise our awareness. When we raise our awareness of who it is that we are, we raise our frequency. And one of my favorite sayings is that it's important that we increase the frequency of feeling our frequency and that higher frequency. Now, Lizzie, will you bring up that graphic that I shared with you? And I think that'd be really helpful. And then what I'm going to do is go over, I have your book open over here. Oh, hello. Very cool. Yes, hello there. So what you're seeing on screen for us is a couple of things layered in. Now, I want you to keep in mind that as a designer, one of my first secret powers is sight, is what I bring sensorially into my space through the visual. So this graphic is intended to be visually a garden for you. And if you'll join me and come on in, we're doing how certain flowers are energetically vibrant and enhance or raise our vibration. And what they can do for us as we sort of move out of our fears and our worries, our regrets, our shame that Lizzie talks about in the book, right? As we move out of those into a space of unconditional love or ultimately peace. And so when we're using flowers, we can use them in our space to create sanctuary, which helps us create that sort of sense of sanctuary within. And you know, one of the rebellious acts is to have a cheer squad, right? I contend that flowers for you are a way to command nature's cheering squad for you. I like to say plants, flowers, they have our back. You can see behind me, I've got plants because they do have our back. Because we and flowers are not all that different. Meaning, at the core, at the heart of who we are, at the seed of our sacredness, we have everything we need to become why we're here. Flowers are the same. Everything is encoded within that seed for them to become. So what's so lovely and luxurious is when we have a bouquet in our space around us, we have much more than a pretty vase. We have power, we have magic, we have creativity, we have the divine feminine flora force here. So being mindful of sort of time, what I want to take us through to sort of help tie this back to Lizzie's book. There. Okay. So what we have is we have these 12 acts, right? And each one essentially takes us sort of up, 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 up in our vibration and our acceptance and our love for ourselves. And that at each turn, as we move through those rebellious acts, at each turn, we are welcoming in and reclaiming another quality of ourselves. So I would suggest that you look at these flowers after I share a bit about each one of them. You look at these flowers and consider, as you're reading that book, how you might infuse them into your space to help support the inner work, the deep, deep, rebellious, and so creative act, that transformational work that you sort of shroud yourself with this cheering squad. So what we know about flowers, flower work and flower magic is that that they help us harmonize with the planet. I use a particular method when I'm working with people: the sanctuary, heart, harmony, healing. What we're doing is we're healing. When we're creating sanctuary, we're creating an environment of self-love. We're creating an environment of self-empowerment. And we're harmonizing our hearts, right? As Robin was talking about, how we're sort of healing that space of ourselves. What we're doing is we are harmonizing with the planet. Flowers are our tool to walk through that portal and be with the power of masculine and feminine energies of the planet, and seeing ourselves reflected in those. So each flower has its own sort of mystery. It has its own magic, its own essence. It becomes a muse. And so you may have flowers in your everyday that you had no idea. You had no idea that citrus, perhaps if you're incorporating that in your diet, citrus is an abundance fruit. Jade is a healing plant. So we have these plants and these flowers in our everyday, and we can get much more specific about them, which is the 7 flowers that I bring forward for you today in your work in moving through this book. So let's start with that sort of lower, the root chakra, in that lower sort of place. As we know from Robin's talk, we know that when that chakra is not fully balanced, we're feeling some insecurity. Hydrangea is an incredible flower for you to work with, to feel a sense of protection, to feel a sense of rootedness, groundedness, and protection. And in this, color doesn't matter, right? It's that we use and infuse that magic and mystery of those flowers and their encoded magic in our spaces, in the space of who we are. So hydrangea is an incredible flower for our root. So that might be, as you're working through the first couple of rebellious acts, you consider how hydrangea might show up in your sanctuary space. And then as we move up in that sacral and we're balancing that core and seat of our new can bloom, we want to bring in a feeling of that we are very abundant. Peony is an incredible flower for that, an incredible flower for enriching our remembering of our creativity. And then as we move up, we're moving up the solar plexus, that bright light that wants to come out from us. Sunflower. Sunflower is a more masculine energy plant, and it's sort of showing that face of yours. And not only being vulnerable, but allowing yourself to be who you are and shine that out. As we come up into that heart, right, that beautiful heart of yours, that just huge heart, because why else would you be here if you didn't have a ginormous heart, a ginormous garden in that heart of yours? And in that is being the sort of highest vibrant, the sort of highest frequency flower. Really, science has shown us, vibrating at 328 megahertz. It's the closest vibration we have on the Hawking scale to love, to self-love. So we have this queen of flowers that can sit in our hearts, whether you bring her in fragrance or you bring her in meditation. She's there to help you reclaim and restore, remember and heal. She becomes the guardian of those lower chakras and those higher chakras. She's there to welcome everyone into the queendom of you. And then as we move up into this beautiful space, right? And we come into opening that throat. We want so much for lavender to come in and help us with the healing of that, so that there's harmony with what's in our body and what we're saying out to the world, how we speak of ourselves. And then as we move up and we're feeling that sort of connection and that intuition, we know that there's this health of all our energies. And so Daisy wants to be there in its most simplest, keep it simple, sweetheart way. Daisy's magic is there to help you ease into this new identity. And then as we ascend, we have this gloriousness of peace, which is Poppy, is represented by Poppy. And Poppy, I mean, how can you not smile when you think of Poppy? But Poppy is our peace, our peace and letting go of all of the trappings that we ascend into this magnificent sort of sense of ourselves, that we're no longer alone. We are connected always, in all ways. And this flora force, this bouquet that moves up through your body, helps you understand that you are rooted and so enchanting as you commune with that higher sense of who you are. So as we work through our rebellious acts, as we rewild ourselves and lay the power of those flowers all in and through us, what we're effectively doing with working through healing nature's energies, we are committing the greatest and most rebellious act of self-love there is. That we deny the domestication, and we accept the fertility and the abundance of who we are. And each of these flowers that I've shared with you today are emblematic of that power. And that you can hit the easy button. You can find ease as you transform. And by having these elements in your space, you're infusing reinforcements, or the cheer squad, right? That those have a pep talk with yourself and to mirror back the qualities that you're growing within you. And they become, I say, the easiest, most beautiful, most growth-oriented tools that we have to surround ourselves and affirm within ourselves our beauty, our sacred beauty that is so much more than this physical body. So that is my quick share about flower magic and this immersion. Lizzie, if you want to like go back to screen and chat at all, I would love to do.
That was just so incredible, and I just loved how you merged it with Robin's talk earlier, and just how we can tap into the power of our surroundings to really feel comforted by something so entwined with human evolution, with animal evolution. I mean, flowers have been on this planet since, you know, the dinosaurs. They have been
the dawn of, right? The dawn of,
the dawn of, right? So millions and millions of years of working with not only humans but animals to really get us to where we are today. And you know, we would be silly not to include them as our cheer squad. And I really love that analogy. So my question to you is, we'll take questions, so if anyone has a question, you know, give us a hands up. I believe Zoom has that feature now. Annie will take your questions.
Yes.
But my question to begin is, how do you, you spoke about it briefly, but how do you like to infuse plant magic throughout your day? I personally, I know I like to have arrangements in our house, but how else can we kind of really use this incredible power in our days?
Well, you know, in my coaching work, that we come in with that step, right? I have my soul flowers over here from last week's 5-part flower magic series that I did. I have my soul flower because everyone has a soul flower. Everyone has a flower that is here on the planet right now during this season of your life that is here to anchor your growth. And channeling that and being guided to that is the work that I do in part, because having that flower in the sanctuary of who we are, to get to your question, is a tool or an act that helps people with that peace and that reconnection. Okay, so often what we do is we start with living bouquets. I mean, there's no joke, you know, in the last 21 months or whatever, in these days of ours, the cut flower market industry has grown over 400%. Okay, and there is a reason for that. If flower magic, being one of the oldest esoteric tools, it's in our daily lives because we just know. So having arrangements is one of the key ways. And I can tend, now you'll see my lilies are not as vibrant as they were. There's some petals that are falling. One of the ways that we can make more out of our bouquets is to see them all the way through, is to not toss them when they look unpretty. And this is really important point to your book, right? That there is a season that flower is in that vase, and there is a whole sort of waning and waxing that's happening with that flower. So one of the ways that I work with people in some of the rituals that we do, and by rituals, I mean self-care, self-love acts, is to use the petal in our bath. So as those flowers are finding their way through their expression, we gather and we save those petals and we use them in bath because we are soaking in the magic and the essence, the medicine of those flowers. So that's one way. So you fully actualize the purchase of that bouquet. Now, there are other ways we can use them. We can use that in self-care, self-practice. You can create and use flowers in your beauty regimens. You can certainly use them in your diet regimens. And that's something that I strongly believe in, because, and we've talked a little bit about this, you and I.
Yeah.
You know, I sense a collaboration forthcoming. That by bringing in those vibrations into our diet, we are embodying the essence of that plant. And that attunes us with the heart, I call it the heartbeat of the planet, which is the energetic system, the chakras of the planet. So what we're doing is we're connecting ourselves even more. We're nourishing ourselves. And if somebody approaches me and, during one of our initial calls and says, hey, Annie, I just want to connect more with Mother Nature. I just want to connect more with myself. And I'm saying flowers are a way for us to do that. That's a key in my method of working with people. Flowers are a way to do that. And the good news is they're very beautiful and they're very potent by their very nature. And so are we, right? So it's this attunement and a way, that consciousness that we're not separate from nature. So I think through certain rituals or certain practices, we can connect. Certainly through certain beauty products, naturally made, naturally sourced, giving thanks to the planet for those gifts, but also in our decor, right? And as you know this, I wear flowers. Like and Alma, who's coming up, right? Alma's on deck soon.
Alma was last call, and
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we wear those energies. We wear those energies not for the outside world. We wear those energies, and I know my earrings today are sacred geometries, which are included on my graphic, because I'm connecting and reminding my subconscious of where it is I'm going. So we wear, so I, not today, but I wear, clothes, I wear scents and fragrances, because I'm reminding myself. Our mutual esteemed, lovely Sarah Drury, she wears nail polish that has the name of a certain flower, and that's because we are committed to this connection. Because at the end of the day, committing rebellious acts, and I get emotional about this. I can feel that. Wow. Committing rebellious acts, declaring that I am going to be my own sanctuary. That can be some heavy lifting. That takes a deep, deep amount of conviction and consistency.
Oh, yeah.
And when we surround ourselves with allies, with a cheer squad, it helps us stay grounded in the truth and the conviction and our commitment to ourselves. And so I think that your book will help ease that transition. And it's my intention that helping people create sanctuary and infusing this magic right out in the open, because that's what I love. That's the rebellious act here. It's like I'm buying myself flowers, but it is magic, transformational magic right out in the open.
In so many ways, because we have almost been programmed as women that the guy buys us flowers or our partner buys us flowers. We don't buy it for ourselves. Oh, who says that? Of course we can. Of course we can bring these allies that you so beautifully described into our lives like this. And
I would say it's mandatory. I mean, if it's the missing tool, that very sort of shift in consciousness and awareness that I want to grow. I will tap into this element that energetically knows how to grow to support me.
So
it's
good.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So
it's powerful, and it's magic right out in the open. So as you grab your bouquet and you're walking through market, you can just sort of like, here I am.
Here I am.
All right. So I think if anyone has additional questions,
Yes.
please reach out.
Yes.
I
Can
would
they
like
find you?
Yeah, well, you can zip over to Instagram and all of that. But what I'd like to do is to extend to those that have purchased your book a little special something. Oh.
I love this. This is exciting. I didn't know about this.
Surprise! So that's one of my love languages. Our gifts.
Mine too.
So I will share with you. Let's see if I'm gonna do. There it is. Okay, it's a long link, but and then you can distribute it as your tech system is. But this is a complimentary 20 minutes. Let's sit down. Let's talk about how we can create and bring sanctuary into the space of you, particularly to support you as you move through this book, as you move through the 12, and what sort of flower might be emblematic for you to support you as you rebel. So incredible. And that would be my gift to your community. It would be my honor, my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Annie. I am going to copy that link, and I'm also going to send over the PDF that you shared today. So anyone who is watching this live or watching the replay, you will have all of that. So I just wanted to bring it back and just say thank you, Annie. That was just so incredible. I'm intrigued because I don't officially know my my spiritual flower,
your soul flower.
My soul flower. I've got an idea.
Yeah, I bet.
But I encourage everybody to go find that out for themselves, to connect with Annie. And I just want to say a huge thank you for you and your energy, your time, you sharing your gifts. So thank you, Annie.
My pleasure. Best to y'all. Take good care.
Bye.
Ciao.